Hey everybody. I was making a quick video here. I thought I was making a video a minute ago and realized I didn't actually have the video on. So this is a redo. This one is rehearsed for you. That's pretty unusual. So behind me here is the greenhouse, and what I wanted to point out is how full it is. That this time of year, you know, everything in the greenhouse is pretty full. And let me show you that. So I'm using most of the surfaces that are going to get sun. It's still too early for me to put my citrus trees outside, so they're still taking up space in here, but those will eventually go outside, and then I'll use this kind of middle area to have more plants in here in the greenhouse before they go in. But yeah, I've pretty much got most things in here. I was thinking about, you know, with a lot of these flowers, the intent would have been to pot them into bigger pots and then put them in the ground. But with the weather warming up now, I may skip the putting them in pots and may just put these all straight into the ground. I know with many of them I can do that. Like there's a bunch of asters in there that I can do that with. And then if we kind of go back over here to the new potting bench area, I've filled that area. I don't intentionally, and not planning to store a lot of plants there, but I did have the top shelf available for keeping plants, and so I've got that area full over there. And then if I take us around to the side here, this is the raspberry bed, and then coming around the side to the back of the greenhouse, what I have back here, these black and yellow tubs, are what I use to store potting soil, because I buy it in with a bulk delivery and then store it there for use during the season. And then I use the row of tubs as a table, a platform for my seedlings as well. So all of these need to then get potted up or put out into the beds. And again, I think a lot of it I'll be able to just straight put into the beds. And you know, I'm growing every kind of flower I can that didn't die when I tried it in germination along here. So we've got lots of different things in here. You know, a ranicula type here, I forget exactly. Oh, Dusty Miller, the common name there. And then carnations here. I forget what this one is, but you grow it for the foliage. It grows kind of a colorful little foliage. It actually puts up these shoots with nice little flowers on it too, but typically you see it being grown for the foliage. There's some straw flowers in there. There are some Shasta daisies. These are columbines here. Come back over here. These were the pansies. Here are the pansies. I could pot them up, or I could just put them straight into the ground. And you know, I planted these fairly early. I would say I lost one there by accident, and I'll put it back in. But I planted these back in, I think, February-ish, maybe beginning of February, thinking I was planting early and that would give me pansies by this time, flowering, ready to go. But they're not quite there yet, so I think really maybe late December, early January is when I should really plant the seeds and then grow them under lights to really have pansy flowers that are ready. Because you know, the ones that are in the ground, you can see right over there, they're blooming already. They're great, right? But these were taking longer to grow into maturity there. Another tray of shallots, or no, these are leeks actually. Tray of leeks to be put in the ground. Some beets over here, some more pansies, some more leeks, and then my overflow of artichokes that I haven't decided exactly where they go. Been giving some of them away. So yeah, that's what's going on, and you can see kind of the beautiful day we're having here. Well, we're experiencing warmer than normal weather here for April in Portland, Oregon. It's 70 degrees this week and supposed to get into 80 degrees this coming weekend. But what I'm up to is I've been planting potatoes right behind me here in these black bags, these grow bags that I have lined along the greenhouse. I've never done it this way before. So I have two different kinds of what I would call fingerling type potatoes, which I have planted in these bags, and I've just barely filled the bags above where the potatoes were placed, and then the goal is that as the
potatoes produce some foliage or some green that comes up, then I'll add more potting soil or more soil to the, maybe compost, to the potato bags, to just essentially keep hilling them up, that hilling them up kind of thing, until I get to the top of the bag, I suppose. And then hopefully at the end of the season, this will be an easy harvest. I'll be able to just dump the whole bag out into a wheelbarrow and get all my potatoes easily this way. So yeah, that's the try. I've seen it on other YouTube channels and thought I'd give it a shot myself this year. You can see I've just placed my fingerling potatoes in there. I did this earlier, and so I've got a sprout already coming out there. But you can see I've placed them around here, and then I'm just covering them up here. And that's it. I put these little green tags in just to remind myself which of these sacks actually have potatoes in them, because I've got a couple of sacks here that just have dirt, potting soil, so that, or compost and potting soil, so that as the green comes up, I can pile the extra dirt in there on top of it, is the goal. Hey, I've had a few people comment on the tulips, whether it's neighbors or even through YouTube, and yeah, I mean, I appreciate all the comments, and they are beautiful. I think as gardening goes, I've been reluctant to talk too much about it, because as gardening goes, it feels almost like cheating, because you know, you just put the bulb in the ground in the fall and then out they come, and they're at least for me, they're pretty low maintenance. They're a pretty low maintenance deal, and so yeah, it didn't feel like much of a gardening feat, other than selection and I guess choosing where to put them and all that kind of thing. When you see the masses of tulips that I have back that way in the garden over toward the street side, what actually happened there was that I had learned that tulips don't usually, they don't always come back as vigorous, or some often don't come back at all. And so I wanted to kind of test and see how that would work. So I wasn't expecting, because I'd planted tulips for several years here, and that is what I found, is like after the first year, the second year, the tulips that I planted originally didn't come back. So I wasn't really expecting my tulips from last year to come back all that much. But what I did differently this last year is, after the tulips were done blooming, I waited until the foliage died back. And once the foliage died back, I dug the tulip bulbs out of the ground, and I just stored them in the potting shed for all summer. And then in October, I took them out of the potting shed and I planted them along with some new tulips. So I bought new tulips because I wanted tulips for sure, and I wasn't sure if this planting of old tulips would work or not. But in planting the old tulips, a lot of them did come up, and so now we have this area that you might be seeing in the videos that just has this profusion of tulips in all different kinds. And I almost laugh, because it's like, yeah, I look a little bit disorganized in terms of the tulip selection there, because I've just got different kinds, different colors. I mean, it's just a real circus of tulips, I guess, there. And I mean, I love it, enjoy it. It's great. And my wife's been cutting the tulips for bouquets in the house and stuff like that. So yeah, no complaining on it. But I guess the good news is that, in fact, your tulips can work out the second year, because that's what I found. It just took some extra care in terms of storing them. Neighbor I was just talking to about this mentioned, well, it could be that the squirrels and the raccoons aren't digging it up and getting at them, is why that worked. I did notice that they're maybe a little bit smaller. They're not quite as, they're maybe not quite as big as they were before. But so definitely I do think that how vigorous they are does decline in the second year like this, but definitely still got a good show of color and a good tulip show out of adding them to the new tulips that I was putting out there. So that's it. Just wanted to fill you in on the tulip story to the garden this year. Okay, take care, everyone.